Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a quick overview on how to write an essay, and I'm going to call it the Writing Lab series. So, we're going to start off with before you write, think and plan. Oh my goodness. This is a sample example. I like saying that because it rhymes. And this is a sample of a prompt you might see in Apex. Explain the actions of the characters in the monkey's paw and how they try to control fate. What were the consequences of their actions? What does it reveal? In Apex or any other class, really, that you might take in the future, like in college, you might get a prompt like this. It seems simple enough. I need to answer 2 questions, but there are multiple parts to this question that you might not get from surface level reading of it. So, what are they asking you to analyze and elaborate on? So, what I do when I get a prompt is I try to highlight or underline some key phrases. For example, what are they trying to tell me to do? Explain the actions of the characters. That's important. They're asking the consequences of their action and what does it reveal. And I don't mean reveal as in the plot, but reveal as in universal theme. So, not just talking about the story itself, but bringing it out to this broader generalize, like, what can everybody learn from this character and his or her actions? So, what makes an essay? We're focusing on this first part right here that says introduction paragraph and thesis. I'll do another video on the other stuff, but let's focus on this part. This is your first impression that people get from reading your essay. So you want to hook them in. Think of a funnel. So this top portion is your hook where you introduce or develop the theme. In this case, for the prompt that we have, they're asking you, what does it reveal about human nature? What does it reveal about the author's theme? What is he trying to teach you? Etc., etc. Whatever you decide, that's where this goes in the top portion. What is the theme? Introduce the specific piece or topic. In our case, they tell us to write about the story The Monkey's Paw by W. W. Jacobs. So you have to mention that author and the title of his or her work. And then at the very, very tip, the end is your thesis. It should be clear. We should know just by reading that last sentence what the main idea of your entire essay is going to be. So, going back to that idea of the funnel for your introduction, you always want to start off with that hook. Instead of asking a question, as most of you do, and it's a huge pet peeve of mine, is to write it in a statement. And I say that because the person reading your essay might already know the answer to the question you're asking. For example, if you ask the question, did you know bees are dying? And the person on the other end's like, yeah, I know bees are dying. I don't want to read your essay because I don't want to read about something I already know. So you have the possibility that you might lose the interest of the reader even before they start reading the meat or the main content of your essay. So instead of asking that question, did you know bees are dying? You can say it in an intriguing or shocking statement. For example, you might say, bees all around California are dying. Therefore, farmers need to purchase thousands of bees every year to pollinate popular crops such as almonds, which, if you didn't know, that is a true statement. Or you could possibly tell the story of Farmer John, who has to buy thousands of bees every year to replenish his crops of almonds. You might even do an analogy or a quote that will grab your audience's attention. Avoid starting your essay with a question. And then the middle portion of your introduction is usually where students try to skip over it, but it is very important. You need several sentences to set up the background information for your topic. In this case, they're asking you to write on the monkey's paw, the general gist of the story or the summary should go in that background information. You never assume that the person reading the essay knows fully about the topic that you are going to speak on or write on, in this case, the monkey's paw. So you have to almost retell the story to the reader so that you know that they're on the same page as you. Then you end your introduction paragraph with a statement, in this case, your thesis statement, that frames the entire essay. Usually, before I grade an essay, I highlight the thesis statement, the two topic sentences, and the first sentence of the concluding paragraph, because all of those sentences should mirror the same idea or same main idea. So this is a sample essay introduction that you might see for an informative essay. In this case, their hook was, there are few inventions that have had such an immense and ubiquitous impact in the world as the traffic light. Almost every person who lives in an industrialized society encounters traffic lights on a daily basis. And while it might be frustrating at times to be stopped by multiple red lights in a row, traffic lights serve a very specific purpose in society. Without them, the streets and highways would be a chaotic nightmare. The invention of traffic lights significantly improved automobile travel by managing traffic effectively and creating a safer driving environment. So, as you can see by the color coding, there is the beginning, which is a hook, the middle, which is background, and the end, which is the thesis statement in this informative essay introduction. Your thesis is a single sentence. It should not be more than one sentence. It conveys the main idea, provides a focus, highlights key points that you're going to talk about, establishes a purpose, and includes strong verbs and very precise words. So for a sample example, I put, in Jacob's story, he uses the foolish and regrettable actions of the characters to convey the idea that fate is an uncontrollable force. So what I like about this sample example is that it is one sentence. There is a transitional phrase of some sort. They use very specific verbs and strong verbs at that. So conveys, right? Uses, I can change that to utilizes or employs instead of uses if I wanted an even stronger verb in there. And it's very descriptive. So we get the answer to the prompt, right? It asks us what were the actions of the characters and what does it reveal. So we get that the actions are foolish and regrettable, and it reveals the idea that fate is an uncontrollable force. Now, the reason why it doesn't say the consequences of these actions is because that's going to be most of the elaboration that you see in the body paragraph. The thesis statement is not there for evidence or examples or details. It's just there to generally summarize what you are going to talk about. So the next time you're writing an introduction and thesis, remember to think before you write, plan it out, and then make a strong thesis statement that basically wraps up very neatly what you're going to talk about in the whole essay. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.